Good afternoon. Welcome to the Downtown Spotlight. I'm Greer Achenbach, Executive Director of Friends of Charlottesville Downtown. We have an incredible show lined up for you today. First, we're talking with our friend Ty Cooper about the annual United Nations of Comedy Tour next week, November 16th at the Paramount. And then during the second half of our show, we will be joined by Major Mark Van Meter from the Salvation Army to talk about Charlottesville's response to homelessness. Homeless services and interventions have been a hot-button issue in Charlottesville, and Major Mark is here to talk to us about the plans the Salvation Army has to expand their high-barrier shelter and create a new low-barrier shelter. The Salvation Army is supported by the city and is both a compassionate and pragmatic approach. Before I start chatting with Ty, I want to take a few moments to tell you some very exciting things happening downtown with Friends of Charlottesville. If you have not already heard, Friends of Charlottesville and the city have been working together to bring you free downtown holiday lights coming to the downtown mall November 21st at 5 p.m. That is when the lights will be turned on. Please mark your calendars. It is an incredible opportunity to come snap some pictures with these beautiful holiday lights, to shop and dine on the downtown mall. We love our friends at Boar's Head or Veritas, wherever else you might see lights. But we are offering them for free on the downtown mall. So it is an incredible asset and event for the community, as well as for the businesses. I encourage you to remember that Friends of Charlottesville is a nonprofit dependent entirely on private philanthropy. If you like these programs, if you like the lights or other things that Friends of Charlottesville are doing, please consider donating to the organization or becoming one of our all-star member businesses today. We're going to go ahead and drop these links into the chat now. So the lights are brand new this year, but we are also bringing back some of our community favorite Magic on the Mall programming. Many of you probably remember the Downtown Express, the kids train running on the downtown mall. It was previously just at the holidays, but now it runs every Saturday from 10 to 1 p.m., with extended holiday hours from the 21st of November through the first week of January, running until 2 p.m. So bring your family out to the Downtown Express. We will also be doing free Santa pictures at the Paramount on Small Business Saturday. That is November 30th. As far as I know, we're the only place in town that's doing free Santa pictures. So be sure to come and get your professional photo taken, and bring a canned food item for the Blue Ridge Area Food Bank. We're also bringing back Elves in CVille. Santa's elves are lost on the downtown mall. Please come help us find them. You can pick up your passport at J. Fenton or Magpie Knits and turn them back in to get a prize once you've found all the elves. The same is true with the Peppermint Trail. So come downtown, sample an assortment of delicious peppermint concoctions. Try at least 4 and win a prize. Again, pick them up, turn them back in at Magpie Knits. There's also the Best in Snow window decorating competition. Come see all the beautiful holiday windows. The Hanukkah celebration on December 29th. You can mail a letter directly to Santa at Alakazam and get a response from the man himself, and many, many more things. So again, I encourage you to remember that these things do not just happen. If you are interested in being a sponsor for the downtown train, we have 2 advertising spots left. Those are $2,500 a piece, but you are advertised on the train for the entire year. We're going to go ahead and drop that link in the chat now. We are also looking for a sponsor for Santa Pictures at the Paramount. That is a $1,500 sponsorship opportunity. Great for the community, great for the businesses. We encourage you to support this. We're going to drop that in the chat right now as well. And finally, we're looking for some volunteers to help us make all of these things happen. If you're willing to help, we need Downtown Express drivers and assistants, as well as a few extra special holiday volunteers to help with Elves in CVille and the Peppermint Trail. We're going to put those links in the chat as well so that you can come and volunteer with Friends of CVille. Be sure to follow us at Friends of CVille on Instagram or www.friendsofcville.org. To stay up to date for all the latest holiday information. And now, let's welcome our friend Ty Cooper, founder of the United Nations Comedy Tour.
How you doing?
Hi, Ty. Thanks for being here.
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
So let's jump right into it.
Yep.
You started this comedy tour several years ago. Why did you want to bring it to Charlottesville?
Well, I started the tour in 2002, so it's been around for about 22 years. And
Wow.
Initially, the tour was to promote diversity on PWIs. That's predominantly white, institutions, like UVA and many other universities. So typically, sometimes it was sponsored by, like they say, the Black Student Alliance on that campus.
So it was at UVA originally.
Well, it was at different colleges all around the country. It was a tour. But as an example, like a PWI, predominantly white institution like UVA or many others. And the success, it was just, different universities were booking it because they heard about it. I was a member of NACA, which was you know NACA?
Yeah, I had a friend who used to work there.
Okay, yeah. All right, so I was a member of NACA, so I used to book homecoming concerts for different college campuses around the country. And so I created this entity, this brand of United Nations of Comedy. It's in the title, like the diversity effort is in the title, United Nations. So that meaning, bringing an array of different comedians and, based on ethnicity, gender, and so forth. And so Charlottesville was just one of the places on the map. It was en route to George Washington University, GW, other universities. So it was just another place. I didn't have really a reason to bring it to Charlottesville per se, but it was just, so UVA it fit the mold. It was a predominantly white university, and it had different multicultural departments, and they would sponsor the show to come to the university. And then I was like, you know what, Charlottesville has some potential, but we're going to keep touring. I joined the board of the Paramount Theater in 2010. From 2010 to 2017, I was on the board of the Paramount. Oh. And at that time, I had a little tete-a-tete with the marketing department and the theater's manager at that time. And I didn't really have an appreciation for what I felt as though was lacking in the programming. So because of that tete-a-tete, I sent an email out to the entire board, and I was displeased with, just the program, and it didn't represent the community entirely. And my board members, because they really sought me out to be a member, and they was like, thank you, Todd, thank you so much for, that needed to be said. No one ever said that. I'm like, what are y'all doing on this board? Y'all never said, you don't look at the program and say, hey, this is not right.
So there was no diversity programming at that time?
No.
Okay. I think I've talked to you about this before.
Yeah, no. So long story short, I say, you know what? Let me give you an example on how to promote diversity at the theater. So I started bringing my events to the theater. No discount. I rent out the theater. So I would have an event let's say, I had an event called the Best of Both Worlds Dance and Step Competition. I had that event was at the Charlottesville High School. So I would do it there every year. And the late Holly Edwards, our city councilor at the time, a good friend of mine, she would give me the space for free. She gave it to me free for 2 years in a row. And so I went from bringing an event to that place for free, as far as the rental is concerned,
to paying.
To come to the Paramount, and I'm paying $8,000 to rent the place.
Wow. But
I did it because I really felt as though downtown was lacking diversity in the programming. So I just bit the bullet. I made the sacrifice. I moved my events from there to here, the comedy show. It stopped touring the campuses a while ago anyway, and then I started to tour mainstream theaters around the country. And that's how I got to the Paramount, because I was like, all right, you know what? I'm on the board of the Paramount. I have 2 events I'm going to bring here to promote diversity, to show you guys how to do this and how to market it to a diverse audience. Market it to the same audience who you have coming in already, but now we go into the inner city or the urban environments and trying to get them and try to mix up the audiences. And it was pretty successul.
Well, that's such a win for them as well, right? You're introducing them to a new audience. And
they're making more money from rental for me.
Right. We love the Paramount. We're friends with
absolutely,
them.
Absolutely.
So I had heard part of that story before, but I don't know that I realized that it really came from a personal passion of wanting to see increased diversity, as well as sort of improving and supporting downtown, which of course we love. That's everything that's about the show and Friends of Charlottesville.
Well, at that time, part of the tete-a-tete was from me anyway, was as a board member, you want to, as a board entity, you ask for the city, you ask the city for tax forgiveness, right? You want taxes waived.
Right.
You're a nonprofit. You think you're doing good for the community. Well, when you ask for tax forgiveness, that money could help other communities in Charlottesville. So if you consider yourself as a community theater, you have a responsibility. Your community theater is in your mission. The name community theater was in the mission. And we're asking for tax forgiveness. We have a responsibility to provide cultural experiences for the community who you taking money from, potential money from, right? And that's what I had an issue with that. And that was in 2010. So 2011, I started bringing in events there, and the Paramount have taken huge strides in providing diverse programming. From Diana Ross we had there when I was on the board. I mean, all the different entities, all the different people, Maya Angelou, all the different people. And that is what makes you a world-class theater. And then when you become a world-class theater, you assist the city in becoming a world-class city. So it's all about arts and culture, period.
So this is, I knew a little bit of this, but there's so much history to it, and I don't know that I could trace all of that back to the United Nations of Comedy Tour. So tell us again, how many years have you been doing this? It's
been around since 2002, but I've been bringing it to the Paramount Theater consistently every year since 2011.
Very cool. Well, it's a great event. I didn't go last year, but 2 years ago, and it was incredible.
Yeah, thank you.
So we talked a little bit about the purpose and significance.
Right.
What comedians are part of the tour this year, and how do you choose them?
I typically choose comedians. Typically, I would travel and go to different, comedy clubs and so forth, and seek them out. Sometimes I may have relationships with many comedians, and someone say, "Hey, you should get so and so. You should get so and so." But my comedians on the United Nations of Comedy must be national comedians. You have to have TV exposure or movies and so forth. I don't just pick people who open up. It's not the United Nations. Like, if you're an open mic artist, that's cool. Do your open mics. But I can't put you on United Nations of Comedy because it's just a bigger entity, it's a bigger thing.
Okay.
All my comedians actually can headline. So when you're having 4 or 5 comedians on one show, you could just take names out of a hat, blindfolded, and you're gonna have a good headliner because they all are pretty much almost like basically equally the same in strength. They have their own style, but they really strong. So sometimes I would go to a comedy show, like in New York, one of my friends' comedy clubs, or I'll go just anywhere and just take notes. I'm the one that sits in the back and don't laugh at any jokes, like, because I'm analyzing them, studying them, and I'm trying to make sure that, okay, this is something for Charlottesville. That's kind of how I get them. Yeah.
So I have a couple of questions for you. Why comedy, right? So you talked about wanting arts and culture and diversity, so why comedy? And then the other question that's top of mind for me is, do you look for a diverse lineup, or is it really just about the caliber of the comedian?
Oh, diverse lineup first and foremost.
Okay.
And the caliber. It's neck and neck for me because I have to stay true to United Nations, the title of it.
Sure.
I have to stay true to the diversity efforts. The reason why I even created it, 22 years ago. That's like a must. So I can't get away from that. And the caliber, you don't want to bring crappy comedians to a show. Comedy is very subjective, and so people are going to definitely feel, oh, I don't like this comedian, or I like this comedian, or I love this person. Everyone loves Funny Man Skeeper. It's like ridiculous. Like, some people were upset.
Is that one of the comedians that's this year?
Yeah. He's the one that really hosts. He does his comedy set, but he also the host. So he's like my glue for the show. So he comes out in between each comedian.
So you feel confident that if somebody's not the style of the audience, got him.
Oh yeah, because he come back. Because sometimes there's been times. I'm not gonna mention comedians' names, but there've been times when he come out and supposed to do 3 minutes.
Yeah. In
between each one. So he does like a 25-minute set in the beginning, and then he does like, filler. Sometimes I say, yo, man, you got to do, you got to bring the show back up. So he know
and
he got to.
Can on the
oh
spot.
yeah, all the time. Then he go back out there and then he does longer than 3. I may tell him to do 3 minutes between each one, but then he goes out there and they love him so much he ended up doing 10 minutes. I'm like, yo, bro, only 3 minutes, man, because you already did a set. So that's my guy. I love him. So he's like a brother to me.
Is he just improving this whole time, or he just has so much?
I mean, he got material and he's just talented. They're all talented. They're equally talented. They just do what they do. You know, they got written stuff, but then you got to know how to play off the audience. You got to know what's going on. For instance, we had an election. We're not going to turn this conversation to a political thing, but we had an election. There's a lot of material for comedians to eat up.
Tons.
If you watch SNL, then you understand that. So good comedians stay current, and it's never too early. What I mean by that, if something happens, it's never too early to joke about it, right? I don't care how distraught someone is.
And we need that, right? You need that humor.
Yeah, always. And I think you asked me, part of this question, you asked me why comedy.
Yeah.
Comedy is good for the soul. It keeps you younger. You know, you got to smile. Smile is good for the muscles in your face. And then people just love it. I just love comedy because I was a Richard Pryor. I was Richard Pryor's biggest fan. And I just always loved comedy since I was young. You know, Eddie Murphy and everybody, Dave Chappelle. You know, now. So for me, doing comedy is almost like a no-brainer. You know, you and also what's great about comedy that it's a way to really bring people together. Because what happens is this, and this is the mission of the United Nations of Comedy. When I have you in the room, Paramount Theater, whatever, but if I have you in the room, white, black, Asian, Latino, whatever you are, if you're watching a comedian and you guys are all laughing at the same jokes, at that moment, you don't have much difference. There's not much difference between you and I.
Right.
Like we laughing at the same jokes. We enjoying the same thing at the same time.
It spans age and race and
yeah, exactly. And it doesn't matter whatever that content is. If we're finding that funny, he could be talking. It could be a black comedian making jokes about black culture. Same black comedian could make a joke about white culture and Latino culture. Then we have an Asian comedian. Like I used to have Xing Wing on the show. I brought him here a few times. He had a Netflix special. I brought him here a few times way before the Netflix special. Like so, and he's an Asian comedian. So I mixed up these comedians, and if you're laughing at the same time at the same jokes, we are the same. Now I can't control you when you leave the place. I can't convince you to invite this stranger into your house for dinner because you met him because y'all were laughing next to one another. But I got you at that moment, and I put a diverse audience together to enjoy something.
And it probably happens naturally.
Yeah.
That people make connections.
Yeah, they should, hopefully. But sometimes, as we very well know, it doesn't happen all the time.
So, Ty, this sounds like a lot of work, and it sounds expensive to bring in this kind of talent. So how is this supported?
I mean, to be honest with you, it's me. You know, it's supported. But I also have, like, certain entities that, who are sponsor, like CBS 19 is a sponsor, right. Hyatt Place. I have different sponsors, Virginia Tourism Corporation and stuff like that. So I have, like, community sponsors. And then I just kind of rely on the people buying tickets. That's just what it is. But here's the thing. You got to remember, when I created the tour, but when I bought it to the Paramount, I already knew that I was going to take a hit financially as far as the expenses because I went from something having lower expenses from rental to paying $8,000 to $12,000. I've had a bill at the Paramount that was like $13,000 something, almost $14,000. So.
And hopefully you grow your audience and becomes more diverse.
Yeah, but it goes up and down. It just depends on what's happening in town.
Right.
We had an election, like I said, and some people staying home.
Yeah.
Right? Some people don't want to go outside right now. It's just what it is. But my goal really is just I can only do my job. I can't make someone buy a ticket. I can only bring culture here, and it's up to the people. I got to market it, but it's up to the people to buy in and say, hey, I'm going to support this event. This event doesn't happen every day. This happens once a year. And it's the only comedy tour that comes to Charlottesville with that purpose of promoting diversity. It's the only one. I don't care what promoter, what venue.
So
no
there's
one
nothing
does
like
it.
this at JPJ or anywhere else?
No one does it. Only me. Only me. So it's really up to our community if they want to support it. I hope they do. I mean, I put a lot of time and energy and thought into the comedians and the style of the comedians to put on that stage to actually entertain Charlottesville and the surrounding area. But the good thing about it, too, people do travel in as well. So it's
really
a
tourist draw.
Yeah, definitely a tourist draw. And it just depends. Sometimes it's up or down. It just depends on what's going on in our town. We have a small city, a small town, but it's very busy. You know,
I know, very much so.
There's a lot of events.
There's so much. We think about this all the time, right? With so many nonprofits and so many things, you're constantly competing for resources and attention and all those things. So we talked a little bit. I think it's amazing that you're bringing people downtown at different points throughout the year when we want traffic downtown.
Yeah.
So you and I have talked a little bit in the past about this as well, but kind of the importance of arts and culture and why it's so important downtown. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, because one thing, when you say downtown, you automatically think about energy. Mm-hmm. It's all about energy. You don't say uptown. You don't say midtown. We allegedly have a midtown here.
What is considered midtown? Like the corner or the main street?
No, midtown is West Main.
Right, okay.
That's what they say. I had a dry cleaners there. So there was like midtown. I'm like, what are you talking about? Midtown?
Because you're from New York.
Yeah. Midtown is very wide, very long. It's a stretch, right? But long story short, when you think about downtown, you think about vibrancy, you think about energy. It is all about energy. So when you bring arts and culture downtown, the energy is what's drawing the state and the city and the county, but the state and the city are marketing to get tourism, to bring people in.
Right.
Okay. Yes, we have Monticello, and we have wineries.
Right,
so we have these. Yeah, we have these different things that people is already checked in on their list to go to attend, but they're always going to come downtown, right? Downtown is the downtown.
Right, to eat, to shop.
Yeah. And so
go stay at a hotel.
Yeah, and so you want to be able to have a place where they could do everything without even leaving. They don't have to drive. You want them to park their car, right? So when they park their car, it's like when I do the Indie Short Film Festival. Everything is downtown. All my venues, 5 venues. I want you to park your car, or don't even park, don't even drive.
Right.
Take a flight and you come downtown. Your hotel is here, your food is here, your entertainment is here.
You could take the train right in and just walk downtown.
Yeah, and you could go shopping. You know, there's a few boutiques you can go shopping. So I think downtown Charlottesville needs to be a hub of entertainment, food, leisure, and all the things. And that's really what downtown is about.
That's fine.
Or that's at least what downtown should be about. So when I bring events here, I want it to come downtown because I want to be part of that element. I want to be part of that place where people are coming to, and they could be like, wow. When I'm in New York, I'm from New York, right? So when I used to leave the house in New York, sometimes I didn't even have plans on what I'm going to do for the day. I go outside and I'm like, what do I want to do? All right, I'm going to go downtown to 42nd Street. I'm going to go stay on the tickets line.
Because that's where the energy is.
Get a Broadway play. But we have energy in Harlem. Don't please. Because we have
so
the
you're
Apollo.
Right, you're right.
Yeah, we have everything in Harlem. But I'm just saying, I have choices in New York. Mm-hmm. Choices. If I want to go see Asian art, I can go to see Asian art. If I want to go on a boat ride, I go on a boat ride. If I want to go to a Broadway play, I go to a Broadway play. If I want to go to a black production, I go to black. Whatever. Charlottesville is not New York.
Sure.
It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be Charlottesville. It's not D.C. It's supposed to be Charlottesville. But what we need to do is to create the Charlottesville that we want. And me as a promoter, I feel as though it's my responsibility. The burden is on people like me, people on like Corin Capshaw and other people, where we have to put stuff into Charlottesville. And when you think about Charlottesville, you really think about downtown,
right.
To be honest with you. I mean, I love other places of Charlottesville.
Of course.
But I don't think about those places when I want to go for entertainment or anything like that. Now, if I go to to see a stage play, then there's opportunities at the Jefferson School, which is right there, mm-hmm. downtown, right there on that cuff of Midtown and downtown. And then
right there off Ridge.
And we have a couple other places, where we used to have, and I used to sit on the board of Play on Theater that used to be at the X Art Park. So we have places, but you think about downtown. So I make the choice of bringing events to the Paramount Theater because it's a very historical place. And when I look at myself as a promoter and have promoted over 1,500 events since 1993, since I started my company, I look at myself like, all right, you know what venue, with you having 30-something years of experience and did all these national things, if you're going to be doing events in Charlottesville, what fits Lifeview marketing? What fits my experience and who I think I am?
And where can I add value?
So I'm going to look at the best venue, the Paramount. So I'll spend and pay for the Paramount because it fits what I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? And I have.
And it's where you want to be doing it, right in the center of downtown.
Right there. So it's the Paramount. It's the premier space. It's the Paramount.
So I'm so glad you're here today because it's been something that's really top of mind for me, and I hope that we work together on it. I think arts, culture, entertainment is the differentiating factor for downtown. That is what separates us from everywhere else, right? We're not Stonefield. We're not wherever else you might go. We have this amazing asset. There's also incredible dining and shopping and community family things. But you have all of these art galleries and all of these performance spaces, and how do we capitalize that, and how do we bring great talent here? And I've been talking a little bit with your wife about it, and Friends of Charlottesville really wants to play a role in that space because it should be the brand of downtown as a place that celebrates that.
It brings people to the. Imagine no events happening downtown. Imagine that not a Paramount, not a Jefferson, not a Southern, and not the Pavilion. What's happening?
Right.
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, I mean, the food may not change, but the food may change because those restaurants may be like, you know what?
Getting the crowds.
I need to go somewhere else where people are coming to, and I can provide food for them to eat before or after they attend that event. And that's what we offer right here. Like even like today, I'm going to the downtown mall to talk to Mike because I want to give a discount to people who have comedy show tickets. I should have did it last week, but I just got married.
Mike at Rapture?
Yeah, because he does the same thing for the film festival.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he provides like a discount if you have like a badge. So I'm gonna do the same thing. Like I said, I should have did it a few weeks ago, but life.
Ty just got married. His wedding was in Greece.
Yeah, it was nice. And I love your ring too. So don't show her that ring.
Oh, Robbie's is so beautiful as well. It's similar.
It's nice. Yeah.
She made me lose my train of thought, but I think that's so important, and I think we have this incredible. I hope that everybody understands how important this ecosystem is because you're absolutely right. If we don't invest in arts and culture downtown, the businesses, the restaurants will suffer, the shopping will suffer, the hotels will suffer. Yeah. It is such a crucial part of our downtown brand. And so we've gotten a little off track, but just to take it back to comedy a little bit.
Yeah,
tell me about the 4 comedians that are coming.
Funny Man Skiba. He's a household name here in Charlottesville. He's been here since 2000. Before he'd been here, UVA, before I even started bringing it to the Paramount. Actually, I forgot about that. So he goes back. Paris Saget. She's an amazing comedian out of New York.
Female comedian.
Comedian, yeah, out of New York. She's hilarious. We have Chris Rock's brother, Jordan Rock. People love Jordan. I didn't have him here last year because he was busy, but I brought him back this year. And we have Anthony DeVito. Now, Anthony DeVito is hilarious. I love that guy, man. I had him here last year, so people was like, "Yo, bring him back." And I was like,
Where's he from?
I need to New York. He's in the New York area.
They're mostly New York. Okay.
Yeah, New York, New Jersey.
New York has a big comedy scene.
Huh?
New York must have a big comedy scene.
It's the best comedy scene.
I thought so. I assumed.
Yeah. DC would say something different, but come on.
DC
New
thinks
York,
they have it?
I don't know what they think, but New York is New York. We have the Cellar. We have Caroline's. That's where Jerry Seinfeld would come to the Cellar and just practice new stuff. I mean, so you could be at all these clubs. New York, we got the New York Comedy Club with a buddy of mine. He owns that. So we have a lot of comedy clubs in New York. It's a big comedy scene. So that's why I go there. I actually been to DC's comedy clubs to look at comedians to bring here. So I have, but I would tell you this though, DC, don't get mad at me. DC folks, please don't get upset with me. I'm about to say something. I got to be honest on this show. I will say this.
We love it.
I would say this: the number of people, the number of comedians that I would not book twice, the majority of those, very few,
Come from DC.
came from DC. I would not book them twice.
Okay, you heard it here, everybody.
So, now,
he's not biased at all.
It had nothing to do with DC. It's just my luck. It's my luck. Maybe they were from Baltimore. I don't know, but there's actually a couple. There's two New York comedians that I did bring here some years ago. I would not bring them back. They just wasn't for Charlottesville, but they were for another place. But they was more like for like the club, the comedy club.
Interesting. Okay,
comedy
so
club
it's a
comedians.
different audience here than.
Oh yes. You got to be mindful of the. Yeah, there's work behind this. This is like a full-time
It's so much
job.
strategy.
It's strategy. I have a comedian, for prime example, I have a comedian named Aaron Berg. I love him. He was amazing. I went to Canada to a comedy club called Yuck Yucks. I went to Canada. This is in 2000 and, oh man, it was a while ago. But I went to Yuck Yucks. This was like 2010, I think. I was in Canada, went to Toronto, and went to the club looking for comedians to bring to the States. I met this guy. He joked about me when I was in the what's name, about a black man, blah blah blah. It was like a sea of white people, so I was like the only black. I think it was like 2 black people. He joked on me and stuff. It was great. I didn't get his information because I had to leave.
And he didn't know that you're a promoter when he
No,
was
he didn't know.
joking?
No.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
No. And then, cause I don't say anything. I usually sit in the back and not laugh, and I'm just studying. And then I went back home, and I was like, man, that guy in Canada was hilarious. I need to get him. And so I was going to call the club or whatever, but I just kind of, just didn't. Some time went by, 2014 or 13, something like that. I think 14. I'm in. I don't know if it's around that time. I get confused, but I'm in the New York Comedy Club, downtown, my friend's club, and I'm sitting there, and I forgot his name. So I saw the people that was up there, and I was like, that guy looked familiar because they have the face and the name.
So he's in New York at this point.
I didn't know.
Him in Canada.
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't know. Yeah, I'm in New York, and I'm like, damn, it looked familiar. But Jordan Walk was performing, so I really was like, all right, let me see Jordan, see what Jordan, see if he's in the shadow of his brother or if he got his own.
The first time you're seeing him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I went there, saw the comedian, and then this guy comes out, and I was like, yo. So I'm with my friend and my girlfriend at the time and her friend. Well, we were both friends, but 3 of us are down there, and her mom. So it was like 4 of us sitting there in the front row, and then he just like got me again. So he started joking about me again. I'm in the
and he still didn't know.
Black guy with these 3 white women. So it's like old, maybe like I think 70 years old all the way to whatever 40 something. And he joking me, and I'm like, I was like, yo, I saw you at Yuck Yucks. You did the same thing to me back then. And he was like, oh, you must like this then. So he kept on me and blah blah blah. And then I booked him. I was like, yo, I got him. Hilarious. Yeah.
He came here?
I booked him and Jordan Rock. I booked both of them from that particular show.
Okay.
That was my first time seeing Jordan. Second time seeing Aaron. I bought them here at the Paramount.
Was this 2 years ago?
No, this was a while ago. This was like around 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, around that time. And when I booked them, it was a great show, but he was so raunchy. Aaron.
And you're like, I don't know if Charlottesville can handle this.
No, he was hilarious. I was eager to bring him.
Okay.
But then I was like, when it got started and he picked on this one woman, like I said, he picked on me, but I have tough skin.
Right.
You don't know me, so you can't torture me. Like you don't know, nothing you say to me means anything, so I don't take it like that. It's just a comedian doing his job or her job. But my customer, man, she was so traumatized. She emailed me and was like, I'm traumatized, blah, blah. And she was serious. And I'm like, what is going on?
This woman?
Yeah. She was in the front row. You're in the front row of a comedy show with 5 national comedians?
What'd you do?
I mean, I just told her, I said, look, you come to all my shows. She used to even come to the shows I did in Harrisonburg. She would go to the Court Square Theater. Where
she was here at Charlottesville.
She was here, yeah. And then she was.
Oh my God.
And she was a loyal customer. She had probably about 10 people. She used to bring a group.
That sounds stressful.
And then she stopped coming. And then that's when I was like, you know what? Charlottesville is very sensitive at times. Not everyone, but some. So I would book Aaron in a million other places. I just wouldn't bring him here,
right?
Because of that experience. So for me, I'm very mindful of the people. Yes, even back then, even before I booked him, I did say he's kind of strong, but I was like,
they can handle it.
Yeah, they can handle. I mean, because it is what it is. You're making jokes. You sit in the front row.
Yeah.
So if he pick on you, both times I'm in the front row. Well, I wasn't in the front row in Canada. I was like maybe like in the third row, but it was like a theater seating. Not theater. It was like a dinner type of seating the way they had it because they got tabletops.
Cool. Okay.
It was a big club, so it was different than a theater. It was like tables. So, but anyway, he spotted me in Canada, and I'm sitting in the front row at the comedy club in New York, only because I had four of us and they didn't have four seats in the back. Normally I would sit, if I'm by myself, I would sit in the back.
Okay, where you can judge everybody.
Yeah, I could just chill out.
Okay.
But it was four of us, so they had a table in the front. So I knew something was going to happen. But anyway.
But you almost, when you're right in that front row, you almost have to be on and like kind of engaging and laughing with them.
Yeah. I mean, if not, you're going to get worse, and they're going to get worse for you.
Yeah.
So laugh it off, and then they go to someone else.
Okay, so that's really good advice, actually. So anybody that wants to go to United Nations of Comedy Tour next week, if you sit in the front row, make sure you got a good sense of humor and that you laugh it off.
Yeah.
16th, that's Saturday?
Yeah, 16th at 8 p.m.
Okay. And give us the details. Like, is there still tickets available? Yeah. Where do they buy them?
This year is the first year that we did reserved seating. So you actually, when you buy your tickets for the seat you actually want.
Okay.
Because, typically we have general admission, so you buy a ticket and you just sit anywhere. But this time you got to actually pick your seat. So we have VIP section for $49.50. Then we have the regular section, like in kind of like, it's not even far in the back, but behind the VIP area, and then like on the sides, we have that for $39.50. So it's very affordable. Yeah,
it's very reasonable.
Yeah, it's very, very affordable. I don't like giving people excuses on not attending. So, and when I promote this show as an effort to promote diversity in the community, it's not about money. And people may not understand that. They look at me sometimes and say, "Oh, he doing all this stuff. He got all this money." No, if you do mathematics, like the show doesn't sell out.
It's funny what people think.
The show, I'm doing this for you. I'm not doing this for me. Now, if I was to get someone to give me $30,000 to sponsor it, then money will be made because then I'll have profit coming in. But I'm just paying the bills just to make sure that something I bring here is consistent. So it's Saturday, November 16th, 8 p.m. at the Paramount Theater right on the downtown mall. And they can get tickets 3 ways. They can get tickets by going to the website, UnitedNationsOfComedy.com, which will take you to the Paramount Theater's website to buy tickets. They could call by phone, 434-979-1333.
Call you? Is that you?
No.
Oh, that's a big job.
That's the Paramount Theater.
Okay. And then, everybody got that?
Or they could go to the box office, which is right on the downtown mall. The box office had very limited hours, unfortunately. It's something that even when I was on the board, I complained about it then, and I complain about it now. But it's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. unless they have a show, and then they open up like about, I think, an hour, 2 hours before showtime, if they have a show, so you can get tickets.
So they can buy tickets same day if they're still available?
Yeah, they can buy the same day, but it's reserved seating, so you probably want to, it's better to buy in advance, but you can avoid like the fees and stuff like that by going to the Paramount box office during the hours that they open and just buy them there. Okay. But convenience, I mean, we all pay convenience fees, so if you're going to do it you got your feet up, looking at I Love CVille, and you just buy them from your computer and just pay the small convenience fee, It's going to be a good show, though.
So I know that Ty has convinced you that you want to come to this. It's incredible price. When we talk about the caliber of this event, I would expect it to be over $100 a ticket.
For sure.
And so $39.49 for a night out, please come support it.
Yeah.
It's for all the great reasons that Ty went over. Of course, we also encourage you to come down and visit our restaurants, visit our shops while you're coming in. So
I'm going to Rapture right now to get that discount too worked out. Hopefully he's there.
Yeah, tell us about that. So so if you have a ticket?
Yeah, if you have a ticket, I haven't talked to him yet. I'm doing it right now, but no
pressure, Mike.
I mentioned it to him though before. Like it was a while, like a couple months ago. I was like, "Hey man, I got the comedy show coming. I need to talk to you." But I was about to get married, so But yeah, usually if it works out, he'll let me know what percentage he could do. If you have your ticket, you go in there. I'm gonna tell him that I talked about it already, so it got to be a done deal. I'm just not gonna mention the percentage because I have no clue. But that's what I do. It's about trying to like kind of connect the businesses, to the event and try to support one another. Have traffic coming in. A place like Raptures or even a place like Corner Juice. It's right next door, so it's very convenient. So stuff like that. So I'm gonna work that out. I'm gonna go there, a little bit later when I go to the PO box, check my mail, and then go and see them out. But I think it's just about having something that will allow people who come downtown to not have to go anywhere. You don't have to go somewhere else to eat.
Right.
I got a discount for you right here. Don't worry about it. Just support the businesses right here where you are, so you don't have to walk anywhere. You walk about I don't know how many feet that is, about 100 feet.
To Corner Juice, right? It's right next door to Rapture.
About 100 feet. Just go right there and just you're here. So that's what I want to do. And I'm gonna say this too. Last year, I was real nervous because Dave Matthews Band was in town, and I was like, my event is only gonna have 25 people, but I had 500 and something people there last year.
Wow.
And that was more people that there. During the time Dave Matthews Band tour started at JPJ than it was the past couple of years because it was trying to rebuild after COVID.
Right, I remember that.
You know what I mean? So it was a slow build, So I was impressed with Charlottesville, and I was impressed. I was like, I'm not even thinking about it. I was thinking about last year, I was thinking about my film festival in March. I was like, I'm past this. Whatever happened, I'm not going to get anyone in there. And we ended up having 500 tickets sold. So that was really good. I don't know if that's going to happen this year, but I think I was happy last year. Yeah.
So we'll bring Ty back on to talk about the Indie Film Festival, which is another amazing event in Charlottesville that we're definitely going to want to feature.
Yeah, for sure.
One thing I wanted to highlight while you're here, it's probably come through in this interview, but you're just an incredible relationship builder. We really value that you think about that in this community and are trying to help us bring everything together. There's so many assets, and we just want to highlight them and show what a great community space downtown can be. So anything else you want to talk about with us about the United Nations of Comedy Tour? You've been an amazing guest.
Yeah, thank you. I think I just want to say, these comedians, just come out and enjoy it. Come out and enjoy it. It's going to be hilarious, good time. And it's the most consistent show to have come to Charlottesville so far, and I've been paying attention. Every year, we haven't taken a year off. We come to the Paramount Theater every year since 2011. There's no other show that can say that. And in this town, there's no other show that can say that it really has been built and designed and created to promote diversity and bring people together. Yes, some people would say, events are events, so anyone could come. No, the mission behind
intentionally curated.
It's intentionally curated to bring people together, to bring the audience together, and that's what I'm about. I do it for the Virginia Film Festival. I do it for other clients. I have done it for other clients, but I consistently still do it for the Virginia Film Festival, where I'm trying to introduce new audiences to the movies, right? So all I'm doing with that is that I'm transferring the same energy that I put into the United Nations of Comedy or the Best in Both Worlds dance and step competition, like those kind of events.
When is that step competition?
It's always at the Paramount. I haven't did it since COVID.
Okay.
But I'm gonna bring it back next year,
Good.
2025.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I just kind of put the energy into that. It's the same kind of thing. I want to merge audiences. I want to introduce people to new and different cultural experiences, and that's how the United Nations of Comedy. You're going to see a white comedian, you're going to see a black comedian, you're going to see a gay comedian. Then the next year you may see an Asian comedian, a Latino comedian, a white comedian, black. I try to mix it up that way. So it's all with intent, it's all intentional.
I hope that people see that, because it is, I'm sure people underestimate how much work that is, but how important it is to really lead with that intention.
Yeah.
And like Ty started with, like, comedy and laughing is good for the soul. So
and your facial muscles.
Fully in support of that. Ty, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, it looks like the Salvation Army is not able to join us today. We will follow up with them and hopefully have them on to talk with us next month. We are going to go ahead and drop a link in the chat of the October 21st City Council meeting, where City Manager Sam Sanders presented his recommendations to City Council on, I think it's community safety, homeless interventions, and quality of life improvements on the downtown mall. If you're interested, I encourage you to take a look at that and to continue to support these efforts in our community. Thank you so much for joining us here today on the Downtown Spotlight. We look forward to seeing you again in December, and please come out to support all of these great events. Thanks.